British national hits back at FG over allegations of plot to overthrow Tinubu government. The British national Mr. Povey, also known as Andrew Wine, has responded to allegations made by the Nigerian government that he was involved in a plot to overthrow the Bola Tinubu administration. In a statement, Povey denied the allegations, saying protest is not treason and calling for the release of all detainees. Recall that the Povey's bookshop, located at the Abuja headquarters of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC), was earlier raided and sealed by the government. He was accused of enabling Edban governors' protesters with the intent to destabilize Nigeria. In a statement, Povey described the government's action as repression, stating that the mass protest had frightened the government, leading to the murder of over 40 people, the arrest of thousands, and the detention of many. He criticized the government for turning to repression rather than addressing the people's demands. The statement reads, "Protest is not treason. Release all detainees." The mass protests over the NBAD governance and the NHANGA frightened the government, but rather than addressing the people's demands, the government turned to repression. Perhaps 40 people were murdered by the police and the security forces, thousands were arrested, and many still remain in captivity. In Abuja, the authorities have attacked the so-called leaders and organizers of the protest. 10 people face ridiculous charges, including treason, mutiny, and living war against the state. The NLC, the Nigerian Labour Congress, promised a general strike to protect its president, Joe Ajaero, from arrest and detention in relation to similar charges. Despite the flimsy nature of the evidence against the detainees, they face long years in prison unless the trade movement is prepared to protect them. On the 7th of August, the NLC said it. It condemns in the strongest terms the human rights violation perpetrated by security forces and against peaceful protesters. The first person to be arrested in this case was Elojo Okpalua. He's a former colleague of Joe Ajaero, working for NUEE, the Electricians Union, as an organizer in Abuja. He is also the vice chairman of the NLC, Nigeria Labour Congress in Kogi State. He has now been detained over 4 weeks and with no tangible evidence. His family was told he had received a WhatsApp message from one of the other alleged leaders. This was after Alejo had been detained. The 10 detainees have been accused of conspiracy to commit a range of serious crimes. However, they barely know each other. 5 of them have been members of a WhatsApp group set up to organize the protests in Abuja, but the other 5 are unknown to these comrades. There may be a few of the flag-waving protesters from Kano who were added to extend the range of the protesters to cover the main protest from Sokoto to Maiduguri. There appears to be a conflict between the government and the police investigating the case. The head of the Intelligence Response Team, IRT, told the detainees lawyers that he would have them released, but that he had orders from above not to set them free. So the police have developed what appears to be a ridiculous case involving the owner of IVA Value Books. They are claiming that he goes under the name of Andrew Povich, a Russian-sounding name, and that he has now left Nigeria for Russia. Neither of these claims are true. Yomi, who works for IV Value Books, has, like the other detainees, been treated in a terrible, inhumane manner. He was arrested in front of his wife and 3-year-old daughter. All their phones were confiscated by the police. This was despite appeals from his wife that he needed a phone to get money for food. He was then imprisoned illegally and held in chains, beaten and tortured for 3 days. His only movement was to design flyers for the protest on the instructions of his boss. The NLC has shown that it has power to protect its president. It now needs to extend its action to protect its other officers, its members, and the general public. What exactly? What's in this soap? What's in the soap now? Nigerian government. They no agree do wetin Nigerians say make them do. They never come as I do here, like say the 10 days of rage and 10 days of bad governance protest, like say they hear them. Now we are hearing that they're actually going about detaining people, arresting people over 10 days protest. Because I don't understand within this soap. It's no longer making sense. Ha. Nigerian political dictionary, they different from the rest of the world. Even our democracy. You can say that again. Simple. This Briton must be repatriated to his country after the investigation of his activities in Nigeria. He has portended a dangerous species and he must leave our country for us to manage the way we can, to put it on hope agenda mode. Hope agenda B? Okay. The masses will show up, but one day the truth will be bitter in your ears. He that draws evil will be visited by evil. Enjoy your romance. But remember, 70% of the organizers of the End Bad Governance in Nigeria are Yorubas. You should ask yourself questions. Janjaweed intellectuals, that's what Nnamdi called Nigerians, and we are complaining. See it now? The police must release protesters if they are not vandals and looters. In fairness, non-arms carrying protesters should not be in detention. Exactly. Nothing supposed to concern you and concern prison if you no even carry any arm, if you no commit, if you no loot, nothing. But he's right, if protest is treason, then the Constitution of Nigeria permits it, because the right for peaceful protest is enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution. Tell the president, let him hear that protest is not treason. Our so-called ruler who do not know left from right. No. He knows his left from right, but they use them well. We do not do any Britain to teach us anything. He should go and organize protests in his country. He needs to teach you because you do not even know your rights. He who knows and does not know is a child. Teach him. He who does not know that he does not know is a fool. He who knows that he knows and uses what he knows is a teacher. Follow him. Toh. We're enslaving ourselves in our own country. Can't people complain again if things are not working well between the people and the government again? My dear, I don't tire. This question will ask me. I know not I go use answer you. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu hands are clean, why is he afraid of being overthrown? Pablo Escobar feels that peaceful protests can lead to coup. I know sure all things will end one day. The people are hungry and you went to buy private jet and luxury SUV jeep. I pity people that are supporting this illegality because they won't suffer. You're not going to be here. That is why they wanted to know the organizers of the protests. They wanted to charge them for treason. It all makes sense now. I still pity Nigerians who still believe there could be anything like peaceful protests in Nigeria. If you cannot guess right away to go, just forget it. But how does this have to meddle into protests and he has the audacity to be telling federal government that protest is not treason? What an effrontery. Alright, on this note, we have come to the end of the news. So thank you for tuning in to listen until I come your way next time. Enjoy the rest of your day.